Welcome back to my series on life lessons I learned from moving and how you can use them to help create a more fun and profitable business. In my last video, I talked about how sometimes it's a good idea to try things that you aren't sure that you can do that seem scary or intimidating. Today I'm going to talk about the flip side of that, how sometimes it's best to ask for help. Now, in the last video I mentioned how I was towing a trailer for the first time and it was going fine until I tried to back up. As it turns out, the moment you try and back up, trailers become the most stubborn, recalcitrant assholes you will ever have the displeasure of dealing with. So, here are a few quick tips for dealing with them that you'll totally regret hearing from me. Number one, move the back end of your main vehicle in the opposite direction of where you want to go. You want to back up left, back up to the right instead. Don't turn too sharply, because if you try and reduce the sharpness of your turn, the trailer will respond by turning more sharply until you and the trailer are perpendicular and about to crash into each other. At that point, just straighten out and try again. If you try and turn less sharply, you'll still end up at right angles with the trailer. If you try and back up straight after a few failed attempts to turn, you'll still wind up at right angles with the trailer. You're doomed. And the more failed attempts you make, the closer you'll come to putting your fully loaded U-Haul irretrievably in the ditch, along with the fully loaded trailer. You're doomed even faster. Scream, cuss, scream at the top of your lungs while cussing, and then realize you should not be taking trailer advice from me. Which brings me to today's lesson. Sometimes it's best to just ask for help instead of trying to muscle through yourself. I realized I was getting closer and closer to the ditch. I was going to waste way too much time doing this, and I might just end up winding up stuck in the ditch if I kept trying. So I went out and flagged the next passing vehicle down for help. And I made myself vulnerable too. When he drove past me, because he still had momentum, I just buried my face in my hand in a gesture of naked despair, because I was at the end of my rope. At that point, he stopped, turned around, and rolled down his window to see what was wrong. And I told him my situation, and thankfully, I'd gotten lucky enough. This guy knew how to back up trailers. Obviously, he's a sorcerer. Yeah, sometimes it's best just to ask for help, especially if something is, really difficult. It's taking up way too much of your time. It's making you hate your business. And it's even more especially if doing it wrong will have serious consequences. It's best to just ask somebody who already knows what they're doing instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. So if what you're happen to try, sorry, if what you're trying to do right now happens to be, creating a book or coaching program, that happens to be my area of specialty. So I'd love to help you out with that. If you need to figure out what to write about, what content to include, in what order, how to deliver it in a way that's best for you and your ideal clients, I'd be happy to help you figure that out and decide the right next steps for you. So please feel free to send me a DM. And either way, I hope you take this advice to heart, ask for help when you need it, create a great day, and stay tuned for the next video in the series.